Have you heard of Alligator Alcatraz?
So Florida is spending $450 million a year to build and maintain a migrant facility called Alligator Alcatraz.
All right, this is insane. Florida is building what's called Alligator Alcatraz, which is a detention center for migrants with horrific heat, surrounded by snakes and alligators with absolutely no oversight. And let's be very clear here. There's a different conversation about border security and treating people humanely. I believe, and I'm a Democrat, that if you come here illegally and you commit a crime, you should be deported. I believe we shouldn't have a porous border. I support enhanced border patrol. But folks who are being detained, mothers, fathers, children, many of them are law-abiding residents. The idea that they would be detained in a facility with extreme heat, with danger from surrounding by snakes and alligators, with access to no oversight and perhaps subhuman conditions, this is not who we are as people. Many of these folks are tried not criminally, they're being tried civilly. And they deserve their hearing and they deserve to be treated humanely as they work through the process. This is not who we are. This is an insanely reckless move by Florida and the Trump administration.
$450 million. $450 million per year for that brand new ICE immigration center in Florida. $450 million per year. And who got the contract? The Geo Group. Now, wait a minute, Christina. Wait. Doesn't the Homeland Security, their budget, doesn't that cover that $450 million per year? No, it does not, my friends. Not only is Homeland Security over budget for deporting immigrants who paid taxes in the billions of dollars every year and also spent billions of dollars in our economy. So we're losing that. We're going to be over budget by $1 billion in Homeland Security. And for one ICE detention center, it's going to cost $450 million every single year? So that's going to a private company. So we're spending billions and billions of dollars to deport people who pay money in taxes, who use their money in the economy, who will never get benefits of Medicare, Medicaid, or Social Security, but we're going to spend $450 million just for one ICE detention center? Where is that money coming from? They want to move it from FEMA. They want to move it from the FEMA instead of giving to hurricane, flood, disaster relief. You people have been conned. You have been conned by people who are rich, who give to their rich friends. They cut benefits, they increase your tax, and they get more rich. $450 million for the Florida Alligator Center. You should be outraged.
Florida does it again. Florida just can't seem to let go of its number one spot of hating immigrants. You might have heard Alligator Alcatraz recently. I looked into it a little more deeply today. Essentially, it is approved plans to build a massive migrant concentration camp, because that's what it is, in the middle of the Everglades. Now, this is apparently on an abandoned runway. We can talk about it in two ways. We can talk about it in the ways of morality, and we can talk about it in the ways of environmental damage. If we're talking about it in morality, it is essentially a tent/trailer structure to house up to 5,000 migrants, essentially to be what sounds like a transition point. And our Attorney General said, and I quote, if people get out, then they really just have alligators and pythons waiting for them. So that's how he thinks of immigrants. Apparently either coming out or being submitted for reimbursement through FEMA, who FEMA has already had massive cuts. I wonder what we're going to get for hurricane season. Probably nothing. On the environmental front, it's going to still be in the middle of the Everglades. On an airport, sure, but there's still likely to be like a disruption in ecosystems, a disruption in habitat life, noise and light pollution. Like, on the environmental perspective, it's still horrific. I tried to do some digging. I called around. I'm trying to figure out what is my role, like what can I do? So if you know what to do, you know, a good point of contact to pressure, please like let me know or share this or let's figure this out, because this can't happen. Also, it's pretty much ready to go July 1st. I hate saying Florida because in my head it's like Florida can wear its little cap of like I hate immigrants and like pat themselves on the back for trying to throw somebody's grandfather to the alligators. No, that's not Florida. We're Florida. That's fucking asshole attorney general. That's fucking asshole governor. Florida is better than this. It can be, at least. Also, Alligator Alcatraz, like, can we use alliteration for good, not evil?
So let me get this straight. Ron DeSantis, can spend $450 million a year on his little project, Alligator Alcatraz, right? And they can fast track this fucking thing and have it all of the permits and all the buildings up in less than 2 weeks so that they can start accepting immigrants in their facility. But yet, these guys can't seem to do a goddamn thing to help homeless people in their cities or their towns. And for some reason, they can't do anything to help their actual citizens of their cities and of their states. But yet, $450 million a year on some stupid place called Alligator Alcatraz, and they're already selling merch. So now they're selling merchandise and degrading undocumented immigrants and dehumanizing people. This is ridiculous, folks. $450 million a year on this one goddamn facility to build and house all of these people. But yet they don't have money for health care. We don't have money for education. We don't have money to help poor and low-income people in this country. $450 million a year. And you know what? You look like assholes because guess what? You guys sit there and you complain about spending money on immigrants and undocumented immigrants. We hear it all the time. You think they're getting money off of the system, but yet you're still spending money on undocumented immigrants. You're still fucking spending it. You people are a joke. The Republican Party, the MAGA movement, is the most ridiculous thing to ever happen. Look at the bullshit. And the MAGA supporters will be sitting there loving this shit up. $450 million a year. I want you guys to all think about that. $450 million a year, but they can't help you. They can't help you. We have money for wars. We have money for prisons. We have money for internment camps, but they can't help you, the citizen. I am outraged at this, and you should be too. Like, share, follow for more.
Remember when I said the American concentration camps were coming? Well, it brings me no joy to be making a sequel, because this is no longer a warning, it's a reality, and it's happening in the Everglades. They're calling it Alligator Alcatraz, a mass detention camp being built by ICE on tribal land, surrounded by actual alligators and snakes. It's isolated, it's hot, and it's made to break people down, physically, mentally, and legally. They say it's for efficiency, but what they really mean is out of sight, out of mind. Far enough that no one protests, quiet enough that no one notices. Environmental groups, tribal leaders, and even local officials are begging DHS to stop. But they're pushing it forward. Why? Because this isn't about safety. This is about control, fear, and erasing people. Florida is about to start detaining up to 5,000 people in tents with no AC, no real shelter, in 100-degree heat, mosquito swarms, and choking humidity. Officials are literally bragging that nature will do us some favors. Let that sink in. They're using the environment as a weapon, hoping the swamp will do their dirty work. And get this, it's set to open next week. This is happening on U.S. soil. This is America telling us we're building places to disappear people. And if you're not scared, you're not paying attention. If you ever said never again, this is your moment. Share this. Speak up, because silence is complicity.
Alright folks, thank you so much for clicking on this video. Thank you so much for always come back to watch our video. I always appreciate your support. Right now we have a very big topic that we're going to talk about, and it's making people angry. This is none other than the Alligator Alcatraz. It might be the first time to hear this word, but this is the ICE Detention Center or ICE prison that is about to be opened in Florida. Now, these things are making people mad because they never expect such things to happen in these things because people are really suffering. So imagine spending a lot of money to build the ICE prison, ICE detention center. What is Alligator Alcatraz? You may ask yourself, what is Alligator Alcatraz? Alligator Alcatraz is the nickname given to a proposed migrant detention center in Florida, Everglades. The name combined Alcatraz, an infamous prison known for its isolation and difficulty of escape, with alligator to highlight its location in swampy area teeming with alligators, crocodile, and pythons. Man, this is an ICE detention. This is the place where they're going to detain people. They're going to detain immigrants who have done nothing. Yes, they came illegally, which is not allowed, but they should deport them to their country, not just detain them in a place like that. Imagine a place surrounded by crocodiles, alligators. For immigrants, man, these are not criminals. We've seen many reports that these are not criminals, but they are taking them to Alligator to detain them there. They said it's like, a detention center for just a while so that they can deport back to their countries. And they said, if you try to escape this, it's going to be hard for you because it's going to be surrounded by crocodiles. Man, these are the things that are being built to human beings, to these immigrants that are going to be deported. Now, Florida Attorney General James Athmeyer, a key proponent, openly stated that the location was chosen because if people get out, there is not much waiting for them other than alligators and pythons, nowhere to go, nowhere to hide. The facility is planned for the remote dead Korea training and transition airport for an abandoned airfield within the Everglades. It's intended to be temporary state-run encampment, initially using heavy-duty tents and trailers with a goal of housing up to 5,000 immigrants, including asylum seekers, visa overstays, and individuals with deportation orders, potentially even those with no criminal records who have lived in the US for years. Man, immigrants, those who have overstayed, they are going to be taken in Alcatraz in Florida. So Alcatraz is waiting for them. It's a place no hide. There is nowhere you escape. You're going to be eaten by crocodiles. There is alligators there. Man, it's going to be hard. This is going to be very hard. That's why it made people furious, outraged, because, man, this is inhuman. Human beings are not supposed to be taken like this, man. Because it's other human beings. So you detain them in a place where even escaping, man, you're going to be eaten. Now, this topic have brought, outrage among people. And right now, that's why you've seen the rants. They are reacting, emotionally. Because, man, they think these things are so sad. It made people so sad. It made people, man, angry. Because, there is a humanitarian concern. There is no human here. These things are not supposed to be, it's a place where humans doesn't belong. They're not supposed to be there. So the critics, including human rights organizations and immigrant advocates, are deeply concerned about the condition migrants would face, such as remote and in-hospital environments. It's not a good place, And another thing is the cruelty and dehumanization. Of course, it is. It's a dehumanization. Seeing people being taken there, it's a dehumanization because it's not a hospitable place. Because the deliberate use of natural predators as security measure is seen as cruel and inhuman approach to detention. Limited access to aid, harsh condition. So it means, man, this is gonna be hard for immigrants, those people who are overstayed. Whether you're a criminal or not, you're gonna stay there. You remember the reason they called it Alcatraz? I know exactly, this, famous prison called Alcatraz. So that's why they're so named after that. So whether you're an immigrant, whether you've overstayed, okay, whether you did a bad thing or not, you're gonna go there. And no escape. You're just waiting your time to go there. I believe it's gonna be a bad place. Tell me in the comment section what do you think about this place. Because for me, I believe it's not really a perfect place for people to be there. Yeah, it's an abandoned place. Surrounded by animals that are ready to eat. So there is a lot of things that make this place worst for human beings. Where human beings are not supposed to be there. But now, that's what we are facing right now. Yes, that's the reality. That's the reality. Now, the concerns of many people, they're asking themselves, where do you get money to build this? Because this is a very big project. We've seen reports that it's FEMA that is funding this. That's a Federal Emergency Management Agency, okay? And shelter and service program. So it's funding this thing. So the money that they use, they're going to fund this project. So that they can take immigrants there and those people who, overstayed and wherever they stayed. But my concern is, I'm not here supporting the illegal immigrants. I'm not here supporting, anything that can make people to cross borders the way they want, because each country have a sovereignty, okay? We must respect the borders. That's the first thing. If ICE takes those people, let them take back their countries. Not just detain them in a place that is worse. Because these people are not criminals. Just deport them and manage the border well. And then it comes to the point where I always talk about this to the MAGAs. MAGAs, this is all for you guys. You did all this. There is a claim of lack of laborers in Florida. And they're going to take those immigrants in those detention centers. So, do you think if these immigrants hear about this news in Florida, do you think they're going to be in Florida again? No way. They're going to go. They're going to go away. So it means Florida farmers, Florida construction industry, Florida, these all places that need manpowers. So it means there is no workers that are going to be there. And it's going to affect Florida. So that is what's happening. But it comes to the MAGA who voted for this, man. It is a finding out phase. Latinos who voted for this. It is a finding out phase. You face the reality. You face what you voted for. Because this is affecting bigger number of people. It is affecting huge people. Tell me in the comment section what do you think about this thing. What do you think about, this detention center for ICE, that the immigrants are going to go there. People who overstayed, they're going to go there. They're going to be detained there. That is abandoned place. Tell me in the comment section what do you think about that. Let's keep our conversation in the comments below. I am your presenter, Fikazo. Thank you so much.